Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Cheese, you're back. One of the top 50 bachelors in Sydney. Where were you on the chart again?
I don't know. I didn't even see it. I actually didn't see it. I promise. But what do you mean by bachelor?
I think it just means like available.
Really?
That's what. That's what
in footy or.
Well, no, because you're going to break here that you've signed your player option, obviously. No, I think
I've only just got back from Melbourne today, so I've done no contract negotiations or anything. And yes, I've come back. I'm going to have a sore back tomorrow when preseason starts. So hopefully it's nice and easy. But if I am top 50, who are the 49 geezers in front of me? Like,
no,
come on.
I think I'm guessing top, mate. I think you're even shorter on the list, but surely your mum sent you that or you showed it. You know.
I actually haven't seen it. I've kind of been off everything. I've been in the country. I've been in Fiji. So I haven't really been on my phone. Just
Do you not have Wi-Fi in the country?
Nah, not really. Well, I do, but I like to stay off it. I really get grounded, you know.
Just focus on, be present.
Try not to root any of the sheep out there because there's a lot. And yeah.
Is that a stereotype of New Zealanders that you...
Yeah, rightly so, I reckon. There's actually, on Waiheke, there's actually like a sign, like with a man behind a sheep and like a big stop through it.
Don't, like saying don't?
Yeah, like don't do it.
Temptation.
But I haven't tried it yet, but I won't knock it till I have.
Yeah, that's that phrase that goes out the window. Oh, don't knock it till you've tried it. It's like, well, I'm going to. I'm going to knock it. I'm not going to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a good week on the podcast, actually. I know
without me.
Well, we had Eddie Jones in last week, which was pretty good. Some comments, a lot of people they don't like him.
Yeah. I've had like, I guess, run-ins with Eddie Jones because he's a big supporter of the Melbourne Storm, and Craig and him have a good relationship. And obviously Jason Rolls, when he was at Melbourne, he left Melbourne to go with Eddie Jones. So I've run in with him a lot of times, and I've never really had a problem with him. And even though he kind of, I guess, a lot of Australians are off him, I'm not an Australian, so I don't really care. And I guess I've got time for him because he was nice and taught me some things. So
I was fascinated by his football brain, like and how much he takes from the league, and he looks at transfer skills and what he was trying to do. But it sort of leads in nicely because since then, Hamish McLennan has left his role as Australian Rugby Union chairman, I believe. And obviously, you know, it is quiet time of the Rugby League season, and a lot of talk about whether the NRL should go after the top Rugby Union talent. And obviously, with an eye on the future to expansion, we need to find, you know, the squads to fill, you know, another team or maybe even another 3 teams. One of the things they've spoken about is like salary cap dispensation, which I guess would mean their wage wouldn't be counted on the cap.
Yeah, so with that, like obviously we already spoke about it a little bit, but I guess would the like richer clubs then benefit? Because
I think so, yeah.
Because like if I don't think the NRL is going to pay for them to play for your club. So if you're a poorer club, you're not going to be able to afford the top talent that can come, even though it's off the salary cap. Like I guess the clubs that are doing well in the office or financially are going to get, I guess, an unfair advantage.
Well, that's what I immediately thought. I think if the NRL were to target a player, again, forgive me for the inability to pronounce his surname, but it's Marky Mark, very long Fijian surname that
Bullermark
would take some practice. But say they were to go after a player of his ilk and his ability, like if the NRL were to centrally contract him and then put him up to, I guess, to one of the new clubs, he'd be like a franchise style player. I don't know if a player would come with that. I think if a player's going to come from Rugby Union, they're going to naturally want to play at one of the top teams, and I think that transition into our sport would be easier. So that makes sense. But then, say if one of those rich clubs that you're talking about said, "Look, we're willing to pay this player, say 1.5 million, but we can't afford him on the salary cap at that price. Can we just put him on at say 6 or 750 half? Call it an even half.
Yeah.
Like is that fair?
Yeah, see, I don't think it is, because the other clubs who, not in their wildest dreams, could afford $1.5 million to, even off the cap, like they don't get the opportunity to try get a potential superstar of the game at their club. Like that's what I don't really know too much about how it'd work, but I feel like it'd be favouring teams like the Broncos, Roosters, like teams.
I'm glad you said that, because that was
yeah, like the teams that are financially stable. Like some teams that are pretty much going under. I don't know how what the financials of the Tigers or anything like that, but I assume because they haven't been going so well, the membership sales and stuff wouldn't be going as great, and they couldn't really afford it. So, I've sort of see it as a disadvantage for those clubs. But like, I'm a Rooster, so I'll take them.
I guess for me, just thinking about this, well, what stops a team going, we can get this like a talented player from the Super League? Like, why is it just Rugby Union in this country or around the globe that would be, those players wouldn't be?
I guess that's the same argument with why rugby is coming to league. Like, why couldn't they go throw some ridiculous money at some players in their own field?
Yeah, like for me, on a personal note, just observing this, I don't think this is good for rugby league. So, some are viewing this as like the death of rugby union in this country, but I don't think rugby union are going to go down without a fight. Yeah,
and you've been an advocate for league to be good in Australia. We need the rugby also to be like equally as good, because I guess you need views on both sides.
Well, not just that, but I think they're less inclined to come in with like drastic action in rugby union. They're in a shit show at the minute. There's no disguising that. And I think when you're in that situation, you look for desperate measures. They've got plenty of links to a multitude of financial, like very top level financial backing. They could even look at going into private equity. If they do that, then we do have a battle on our hands. I think the NRL works better when, and this obviously isn't taking into account the situation over in New Zealand, but when Australian the Wallabies are like World Cup semi-finalists.
Yeah, because you want them to be going well in their field and not needing to rely on our players to make their... Yeah, exactly.
You probably don't want them winning the World Cup.
It's vice versa. We don't want NRL to go to shit and us have to go and take their players.
Yeah, well, again, I think we're going to get a fight back from rugby union. And look, the one thing that they do have is it's the prestige and the level of importance that's on their tournaments. I say this all the time. Look at what happened in France. Like, that was insane. The Rugby Union World Cup looked like you'd want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's something that Eddie Jones spoke about. One of the players that they have managed to bring over from our sport is Joseph Suaalii. Now, I think it's being reported that he's considering a backflip. You'd know him better than most. Have you heard anything along those lines?
No, he's a pretty keep to himself kind of guy, especially when it comes to like contract negotiations and stuff. I haven't really asked. I haven't even spoken to him since the season, but
just ring him now.
Yeah, I don't actually reckon he'd answer the call.
Brandon Smith. Oh God, what to see? I'll see him tomorrow.
If I was like a guessing guy and knowing him, I would assume that he wouldn't be backflipping on the contract.
Well, what makes me wonder, or gets me thinking rather, is if they're going to give salary cap dispensation for new recruits, could they do it to try and keep hold of a player? So Joseph has
See,
already...
I reckon that idea would be better. Like if Australia Rugby Union try to smash for Nathan Cleary, Penrith can then go to the thing, well, we're going to offer him this to compete with that, but you can't keep that against us on the salary cap.
Yeah, can you help?
That's a great
help
idea.
us top him up?
Yeah.
So players that are already here,
Yeah.
like the retention.
Just more so, retain the player.
For a guy like Suaalii, like, you know, I can only assume the Roosters, would have liked this to be in place last year when they were having the negotiations to go like, well, or even now that he is signed, if he does backflip, do they turn around to the NRL and say, we can get him, or if he's thinking of backflipping, look, we're going to need some extra top-up money here. If you come to the party, we keep arguably the hottest prospect in...
Have you thought about this
code.
previously, or did that just come to mind on the spot?
Came to mind on the spot.
That's very well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Jimmy.
Always thinking. Be interesting to see what happens, and I guess in the off season, or entering into the preseason now, we're all these stories.
It's interesting what you said, and I know Peter Volandi's a big fan of the buy round. He's probably listening in right now.
What do we think of that? A lot of these headlines come up, especially when it's quiet time in rugby league. Some of the other things is around the other player movements. Connor Tracy considering joining the Dogs or the Dragons. Mm-hmm. I think he'd be a great signing for either of those two clubs.
He's a good player. Like I watch footy and I know footy, and I've played against him a lot, and he's just one of those sort of guys you look at, and when he's playing you feel like, oh geez, I wouldn't mind playing with that guy, because he's tough. He's real tough, and he's got a lot of effort, and if the Dogs get him, I think it's a big signing. Yeah, it's just where does he fit in that picture?
Well, exactly.
But he can play a lot of positions. Yeah,
that's the thing with the Dogs. I think, you know, he'd be a great acquisition, but they probably need more reinforcements in the forwards. Obviously, it's been reported that Takiaho has failed a medical, and then therefore won't be joining. Which
I've never heard that before. That's
players failing a medical. Yeah, I had to get a medical to come over to the Bulldogs. They were pretty adamant. I think there'd been issues before with other recruits that had came injured and then needed surgery. And from my level of understanding is that Takiaho was surgery was going to be required, and then he'd miss the start of the season and be too much ground to make up. But I think on Connor Tracy, it'd be a great signing for either club, or any club for that matter. It's just whether or not they could get him for next season. I think he's off contract for 25. I don't think I don't think he's quite at the level of player that you race into now to sign for 25.
Yeah,
you'd race into now to get him over like effective immediately.
Yeah,
because really as well, like if you look at the situation at the Sharks, like it appears as though Will Kennedy is going to be fullback again.
Yeah,
and rightly so. He's been outstanding, but Tracy's too good to sit on the bench or play Reggie's.
Yeah.
And then they've got that young Cade Dykes there that goes really well. He's got a lot of potential. He's more than adequate to back up. But and it's hard, like when and I guess you've been in this situation yourself where you've got too many quality players in that one position, and they can't all fit into the team. Like when it was yourself, Harry Grant, Cameron Smith.
Yeah,
like there's no way that. Obviously, Cam Smith wouldn't, but one of you guys is missing out. That's why Harry Grant went on loan. Yeah. So, wouldn't surprise me to see Tracy in other colours. You talking of all things player movements. What's the situation with you? You've got an option.
Yeah. So following this year, I've got the option whether to stay at the Roosters or not. If I'm honest, I'm definitely staying. But I haven't had any discussion about it with the Roosters or like had a sit down, but my thoughts are I want to stay in Sydney. I kind of love it here. So that I don't know if that's a telltale sign, but yeah.
Can you stay in Sydney so we can keep you in the buy round?
Yes. Well, this is not. I've still got another year. Yeah.
Good to hear. Jeez. That's good to hear.
I actually am only re-signing with them to be on this podcast.
Yeah. Maybe
because it's so close to the stadium. That's why I can't sign anywhere else.
I reckon that's their big power play to keep you. Like, we're going to reduce your wage, but just starting to buy around. Some of the other things around the world of rugby league, the stupid clickbait. Now, this pissed me off.
I actually did see that.
An article, Blake Austin joins the Tigers. And you're like, oh.
That's all right.
That's...
I love it.
But he's not. He's joining...
I've been like a part of this where like it's like a big headline and like for some reason I've got a photo there. Like it's the photo of me, but it's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Like it went around when I was getting in trouble. It was just like all these articles were coming out and it was like, oh, and my face is in there.
Yeah, some of those stupid clickbait articles. Actually, speaking
so
of
he was, what was it? Are they like a similar logo?
Yeah, it must be. But that's poor form. That is poor form. Because actually, speaking of the Tigers, they do seem, I think Dave Riccio was reporting that they're in the box seat to land Jarome Luai, which would be huge for them.
Some monstrous money must be getting tossed around. Because the Panthers increased their offer, didn't they?
I believe so, yeah.
So like close to 900,000. So
I think it was a bit below. Well,
yeah,
like
close to. It was like 8 something.
Yeah.
So for him to leave, it must be some monstrous money getting.
Were you going 1+?
Yeah,
it's got a 1. It's got a 1 at the.
It's got a 1 at the start.
1 at the start
and 6 zeros.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because it will have that domino effect. He is the highest profile player that's available. So once he goes, then they all start to fall. But he'd be a massive pickup for the Tigers. But interesting.
Is this next year?
No, that would be for season 2025. Similar to what you did.
Yeah.
You know, where you sign for a club and then you don't go for a year.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jimmy.
I think that's what he's looking at doing. What else is
Thanks
doing?
for bringing that back up, by the way. So
that's all good.
some wounds just don't heal, you know.
But with the Tigers, do they need a Jarome Luai? Like they've got Aiden Caesar, experienced half, and then they got the brothers from Manly, obviously.
I don't think they need him, but it's sort of that like David Fafita sort of situation where players tend to follow. So like
they need that big kill.
Yeah, they needed like say Munster got signed to the West Tigers. A lot of players are thinking, well,
they mean business.
They mean business. So
yeah, it would have that.
It would have that domino effect, as you said before. Yeah,
that effect. Another thing that's been spoken about. And again, this is a reflection of the fact that we are in the off season. Jackson Hastings, that is, has called for a push on player names and numbers on NRL jerseys. For me, I still don't know why we don't do this.
Neither do I. I mean, does it cost more?
I don't know the reason behind it around tradition and numbers, like. Your 7 is your halfback, 8 and 10 are your front rows, 9 dummy half. Like,
yeah,
I don't know,
but like, does it also, if there's like I guess, an injury, do you then have to make a new jersey? Because you do now. Yeah, but you know in Super League how it's like the number that's
your squad number is your squad number for the year.
Yeah, that's your number for the year. For us, like. Say I got injured and, I don't know, Sandon or Connor Watson, they'd have to make a brand new jersey saying Watson with a number 9 on it.
No. What you'd do is you'd have so the Roosters would release their squad numbers, so something along the lines of their best 7.
Oh, so you're just saying like replicate. So
you'd be number 9, and then maybe Connor would be number 14.
Yeah.
Watson 14, and then if you got injured, it's just Watson 14.
Yeah. What about retired numbers?
You've got to be very, very good.
Yeah,
get your number
there is some retired numbers, isn't there?
I believe so. Not in Super League.
Yeah.
You're solving a problem that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm creating a problem for.
Yeah. Oh well, maybe that is some of the argument.
I love the idea because, like, it's so right what you're saying because revenue for the game. If you go into a store, you want to buy a Manly jersey, but if it's got Tom Trbojevic on the back or Jake Trbojevic on the back, you want to buy it even more.
Yeah, and it'd be good for the players, for their revenue. I think it'd be good for NRL revenue, good for club revenue.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's holding us back from this.
Surely the players get a little clip back too.
Of course they would.
Of course
they would. Like, it just makes sense. I think it would. Look, I don't like
Jackson Hastings bringing up the big world problems. Jesus.
Look, I don't
Respect.
like that we follow America too much, and I wouldn't want to see a situation where here in Australia or even in it wouldn't happen in England because it hasn't happened, where fans become fans of individuals within teams.
Yeah,
like where you hear who just put I'm a LeBron fan and I'll follow
better
wherever he
say that.
goes. It's like, well, no. Like you could admire that player.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't play for your team when he's playing against you, you got to hate him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I don't like that. And I don't think we'd go that far.
Nah, I don't think. But, yeah. I was going to bring up the exact example because I have so many loser mates that just LeBron's gone to the Lakers, so they're a Lakers fan now. It's bush.
If you're over the age of 7 and you do that, shame on you.
Mate, there's so many people who support Inter Miami now because of Messi.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that support your crew, though. Everton.
No, we've just been docked 10 points, cheese.
What for?
Breaching financial fair play. So we lost too much money over the course of 3 years.
What do you mean?
So there's financial fair play rules.
Is that not like signing people?
No, I guess it's how the books are kept. So they've looked at financial fair play and the independent commission have decided to strip Everton of 10 points.
That will take them down to minus 10.
Oh, no. We'll still stay up. We're going off topic a little bit, yeah.
Sorry.
But the very fact that we've had one breach, Man City have got like 111 breaches, and theirs is still up in the air. But they've got all the money to get all the lawyers in. But anyway, we've gone off track. But on the jerseys and players that, like, I guess, being a Messi fan, if I don't know, you follow into Miami, but.
I guess, yeah, if it's a different competition, it's all right.
Like, watch that because he's playing there. I find it hard to say into
Miami,
yeah,
into Milan.
An old five-a-side team. Into Milan, it used to be called. And it always, and now I actually refer to every time, like in casual conversation, I'd never say Inter Milan. I'd always go Inter Milan. But
You can get away with that without someone actually knowing. But Messi plays for Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. Well, I guess that gets a tick of approval from me, from Jam and Cheese, for player name and
well
numbers
done,
on the back
Jackson.
of the jersey. Also, it would stop those moaning kit men that like begrudgingly.
Who stole the jerseys?
No, well, it would just, so if I play in like 10 and then I got injured or whatever, or suspended, whatever, and then someone had to come in and play in the kit man, or woman, I'd have to make another jersey in the new player's size, and they'd always fucking like moan about it because they've got to play in 10.
Yeah.
At least with this, you'd have your playing jersey, and that's it. It fits.
Yeah. Mate, Roosters make you wear like one size smaller, and I just can't do it, eh?
Oh, because
like large, they make you wear medium.
it's all in the performance advantage.
Yeah, I think one time someone got pulled by the jersey, and Robbo, that's it. You're wearing tighter jerseys.
Do you know it'd be a better?
I like wearing loose. Like I don't like feeling compressed. Maybe I just lose some weight instead.
Daniel Anderson, who's actually at the Roosters, he at St Helens, we all had our jerseys, and we used to get them tapered. So like, we'd have like an XL, but if there was any bit of baggage, we'd like this lady come in, like clipped them.
Yeah, that's all right.
But they were so tight. See, I'm one step ahead of that cheese where I think if you want a competitive advantage, wear a baggy jersey, but one that rips easily. And I mean rips all the way off easily. So if someone goes to
Wear
grab
a paper
it,
jersey.
or if someone grabs you from the collar to pull you down, they don't pull you down. They
You just straight away.
They just, all they've got left is the back of your jersey and you're off and a running.
We're off. We're going the full length.
Do you know what I mean? No, being serious.
Yeah, I get it. But then you got to change the jersey at some point.
Well, you can't put a cost on scoring a
Free
try.
free sub.
Well, I'm sure if you spoke to a coach, they'd be more than happy to pay $150 every time a jersey got ripped if they were scoring tries. Anyway, that just about sums up our the fact that we're in off season.
We actually talked pretty intellectual today.
Do you mean intellectually?
Intellectually. Thank you for correct.
Like a couple of intellects.
Yes.
We have. We're going to take a quick break from this podcast to talk to you about AG1. Now, this is a product I've been taking for over a year now, and I absolutely love it. It gives me all of my daily nutritional needs in one easy drink. All you have to do is put in 1 scoop of AG1 into a nice cold glass of water, and you are set for the rest of the day. The cupboard has been cleaned out of tablets and powders because all my needs are met by AG1. The power of routine cannot be underestimated, and we all know how small habits lead to big wins. Some of those big wins for me have included better gut health. My clarity, especially in the afternoon, has improved so much. Gone has the mid-afternoon slump. AG1 is a foundational nutritional supplement. Now, as humans, we all share that same basic foundational needs. That's where AG1 take care of everything. This supports your body's needs like nutrient replenishment, gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. And that's why they've been a partner and I've been a user for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1, a buy-round exclusive. If you try AG1, you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/buy-round. That's drinkag1.com/buy-round for our exclusive Australia-wide offer. Check it out.
Fan feelings.
Nothing more than
How do you feel?
All right, welcome to our favourite section of the show, fans' feelings. All thanks to Tui's. How do you feel? Feel like a Tui's or two? First question.
100.
I'll let you answer. You ask this first question as it's to me.
Super Mario. It could be Cam Murray, actually. Wife had our daughter last Thursday and was wondering if Jam has any tips. Do you have?
Imagine if it is actually.
Why is this a question for you? Why can't I answer it?
Well, do you have kids?
No, but
I mean, yeah. Any
imagine
tips?
if it was Cam Murray. I'm pretty sure he just had a kid, eh?
Did he?
Super Mario.
Congratulations to Cam Murray if he did have a kid.
I actually don't know. That could be false, but Super Mario.
I guess tips would be enjoy it.
Well, it lasts.
Because then they change. And by the time they're about 5 and 7, they become.
Is your daughter's daddy's? Your daughter or
both of them? I don't really know what the phrase "daddy's daughter" is. Like
does she like you more than she likes?
God no. God no. They
Or do you like her more than you have a son?
No, 2 daughters.
Because my dad definitely loves my sister more than us.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You know what? There's
And
probably
he makes it well known.
probably because if you look at the literature, I think the female offspring are more inclined to look after the older parents and care more, and I think that's reflective in my household as well. So, like, no, but I mean, like with my parents, my sisters.
That
like,
could be a tip.
do
Grow
more,
older, they look after you.
Do more for my parents than me and my brothers do. So maybe there's something in that.
So what was your tip? Just enjoy it.
Just try and enjoy it, even though it's like changing a shitty nappy. I guess you've got to enjoy the little moments, and because when there's no better phase than the newborn phase. I'm sorry to say. Actually, no, there is. But I mean, best age 2.5.
When they start walking and talking.
Yeah, they've got a bit of banter.
Yeah, I don't find them I don't have kids, but as when I meet people's kids, I don't find them as enjoyable when they're just on a big floating mattress sleeping all day.
Yeah, it's a bit like, way better fun age is around 2.5.
When they start building a little personality, then
just try and enjoy it. Cam, Super Mario, just enjoy the little moments, mate. All right, next question from _Bacchus __.
Bacchus.
Should New South Wales / Queensland Cup be tested with the conference model, all 28 plus Perth and PNG? It almost practically is, because they play their main grand final, don't they?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that basically is it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like they could conference it into more conferences, but at the end of the day, they play their grand final and then they...
Yeah, even though after they win the New South Wales Cup or the Queensland Cup, they basically go in a bender and then play a hungover version. No, but I like that. I think that's a good idea. Next question, or last question, Dan Birrell. The NRL needs to have a 5-man bench, but you can only use 4. This system, you could have an outside back in the 5, but only use him or her if someone is injured. I really like this. The only problem is there enough depth in the squad? I reckon it'd work well at Origin level and international level.
I guess I like it, but
well, we actually basically do now with the 18th player.
But that takes a bit.
Yeah, it takes a bit for them.
Not a bit of luck, but a bit of bad luck to get him activated. But I just. It sounds like Dan Birrell is a New South Wales fan. He's a little bit butthurt from he's a little bit butthurt. Yes. He's overreacting to one incident and he wants to change the whole rule. Because it wasn't even a question. It's the NRL needs to.
Yeah. You know what?
It's more of a statement.
It's like, this is what's going to happen.
But
if Dan Birrell is in charge, it's not.
I just think that it would just come into coach manipulation somehow. Well, they do it in the Premier League in all forms of soccer. You have a 7-man bench, but you can only use, or maybe a 5-man bench. Yeah, but then there's so many
3.
Players that are variables. You could have some like Sandon Smith. He can play hooker.
Yeah,
which is a forward. He can play halfback. He can play fullback.
But then he'd be great on a bench if needed. Yeah,
but you could have him on that 5-man, and it'd be as the 5-man, and he'd have 3 positions.
But you don't have. You will then Trent Robinson make the decision whether to put him on in one of those roles, or freshen one of you up, or not, or just put another forward on. I don't mind that idea personally. It's just whether or not we want to. What's the better for people's development on the bench or 18th man?
No, I don't know. I just feel like he might be overreacting to one incident where Freddie maybe could have had a back on the bench for New South Wales and it would have been sweet.
I think, you know what, Cheese? You've saw through Dan Birrell's question. 6 months after that Origin incident, he's still holding on to it. He's finally got
Poor Cookie.
He's finally got through to us here at the bye round. And look, he got a bit of love from me. Cheese, saw right through it, shot him down.
I'm a Queenslander.
All right, well, all thanks to Tui's. That is fans' feelings. How do you feel? I feel like a Tui's or 2. Thanks so much for those questions. Make sure you get in touch with any questions, even if they're as great as Dan Birrell's and we can see straight through them. And we'll get to those next week. And that's just about it from a another episode of Jam and Cheese. Enjoy the dreaded first day, even though I don't reckon it'll be too bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll
Little
hopefully-
calf injury might.
mate.
It's my first time back since before Christmas in honestly 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I should be
That's this-
flying by round 1.
But yeah, so this is like a real preseason.
Yeah, like
not
this
the fake
This
ones.
is like 5 weeks more than I've ever done in 5 years, or 4 weeks.
But I was fortunate enough to play internationals most years, and pretty much always got back in January. And,
Yeah.
and like sometimes I'd buy, bearing in mind, so do all of January, all of Feb, and I'd be like I couldn't do anything. Like this is your plateau. And I think back to some of those lads that have been in for two they've done this twice.
Yeah. But then you also come back after Christmas and you realise, geez, I'm pretty far behind these guys.
Oh,
they're 4 weeks ahead of me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd do a bit of training on my own, but I mean, it's just being told what to do for that long. It's something that I've held on to actually. I do a spin class most Thursdays.
Spin class.
Yeah.
They're actually unbelievably hard.
Yeah. And
They're as hard as you make them, but if you try to keep
Yeah.
up with the person
Yeah.
that's taking the class,
You-
who does this all the time, they're hard to keep up with.
they are as hard as you make them. And when you're doing it at a gym, like if they say stand up, you don't have to. Or if they say turn the dial, you don't have to. I always follow instruction.
Yeah.
But I always leave 5 minutes early, always. So it goes from 9:30 to 10:15. 10 past 10, I always walk out. Because I spent a lifetime of being told what to do, when to do it. So I've just got a bit of power back. And it's just a bit of like it's not even.
I'm my
it's
own man.
It's like I've got autonomy here. I've got
I'm the boss
choice.
of myself.
I don't have to be told what to do. And I've been told what to do for like a 17-year career. Finally had enough. So now that spin instructor is not going to tell me what to do. So
You
I
know
leave
what would
5
make you
minutes
feel
early.
way better?
I get a bit like
leave 5 minutes in. That'd be.
Oh, that's great. Just
that'd
like
that'd make you feel real. Like, nah, I'm done.
I think if I left 5 minutes, because I've thought about this, like what are the consequences for leaving now? Nothing. But it would make the instructor feel quite bad. Like, oh.
I think the 5 minutes to go also makes them feel bad.
No, they just, see ya. They assume I'm.
See you later, you weak dog.
I've just got a meeting. I've got a phone call. Sorry, but
You probably do have a meeting or a phone call. Busy man, James Graham.
very busy. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Jam and Cheese Show, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for having me back.